Okay, so here we go. In a nutshell, you're going to give yourself 3 days, 3 days for this experiment. So you're going to create your not mantra. Again, the thing that you're bringing your conscience to, uh, and you're going to write it on a piece of paper, put it in your car, put it on your mirror, put it in your wallet, put it everywhere. And again, if you want to do something or do an area that you're kind of indifferent to, like for me it was like climbing a ladder just as an experiment, or you can pick another area. So you're going to do this for 3 days, and then before you go to bed, whatever this area has to deal with in your life, feel complete and total peace. So there's no resistance around anything in this area for a week. You're going to go to bed and you're going to see yourself. If it was like climbing a ladder, see yourself climbing a ladder. If it's saving $1,000, see yourself saving $1,000. If it's saving $1,000 to go on a vacation, then see yourself, I want to go to London, England, or Paris, France, or whatever. See yourself in the Eiffel Tower. See yourself, on Oxford Street in London. Like, have a clear picture of that, and it being so natural and so fun and so exciting. And then create your mantra. When you wake up in the morning, look at it, repeat it loud, and do that for 3 days. And then after that, after 3 days, just kind of like let it go, and don't really, force anything. You've already kind of put the seed in the ground. Now you're just gonna kind of give it a little attention, a little water, a little sunlight. See what happens. Write me, text me, or leave a comment with your experiences. Again, this is something interesting, a not mantra. It just kind of creates an indifference, so you're not in resistance with something. And then a lot of times, rather than chasing the thing, you become the thing. Rather than chasing the relationship, you become the relationship with yourself. And when you learn how to have a great relationship with yourself, then that flows on to all your other experiences. When you become a consistent, reliable source of revenue because you're able to create solutions in any environment that you get dropped into, then you're always provided for. So thanks for watching, and look forward to hearing your experiences. Peace and love. Namaste. As you can see, it's pretty sunny, so I'm going to wrap this up and make it quick. Okay, so you're saying, Jasher, what are you talking about with this not mantra? Okay, so the idea of a not mantra is this in a nutshell. That when you are setting an intention or you're creating some kind of a goal, a lot of times what happens is that by setting a goal, for most people, you just realize that you're not where you want to be, and so you create psychological dissonance, meaning that you just notice that you're not where you want to be, and so then by repeating the mantra, you're just bringing more attention to where you're not right now. And so the idea of a not mantra is to dissipate any fear or resistance that you have around any particular area in your life. And I've done about 3 experiments on this, and I've got some really interesting results, things that I didn't expect. So, for example, I set a not mantra on something as simple, just when I was trying this out, as I will not climb a ladder. And I said, well, if I climb a ladder, cool. And if I don't climb a ladder, well, then I didn't climb a ladder. But I just wanted to see what would happen. Well, what happened was, all of a sudden, for 3 days, so for 3 days, the first thing I did when I woke up was I would read this mantra, 1, and then 2, I would look at it throughout the day, multiple times, and then again right before I went to bed. All of a sudden, I became conscious of every single ladder in my peripheral. And so I did this for about 3 days, and I noticed ladders on scaffolding, ladders in buildings, ladders in trucks, all different kinds of ladders. And good morning. And so about, 6 or 7 days into it, there was a light bulb out at the studio, and the bulb was in a place where I had to climb a ladder to replace the bulb. And I got about midway up the ladder and I realized, oh my God, I climbed a ladder. I'm not going to tell you the other 2 areas, but let's just say that same thing, interesting results. So number 1, pick an area in your life where if it happens, it's cool, but it hasn't happened for a while, so if it doesn't happen, you're not going to be too messed up about it. Let's just take for example, saving $1,000. I'm pretty sure that everyone could save $1,000 and would be pretty stoked if they could save. Now, maybe $1,000 isn't anything to you, or maybe it's a big deal. But whatever the case may be, you're saving $1,000, or maybe it's $1,000 for a trip that you've been wanting to go to, but you haven't, and you don't want to dip into your reserve fund, so you need this additional $1,000 to take this trip that you've been wanting to go on. So your not mantra would be, I will not save $1,000. Well, what does that mean? A couple of things. Number 1, by saying I will not, you're taking away the feeling of losing if it doesn't happen. Number 2, a lot of times the things that we want that are not in our life, it's because we're out of harmony. And so by saying I will not save $1,000, the mantra is inadvertently releasing any fear or resistance around that particular area. Okay. Number 3, because the mind does not see a not thing, if you say, for example, okay, don't think about the color blue. Well, there's this blue sky, right? Well, that's great. There's a million colors, but by saying not blue, the only thing you're thinking about is blue. And so when you put your intention on saving or creating or I'm not going to be in a relationship or whatever, then all of a sudden your attention goes on that thing. But because you say not, your mind doesn't go to the lack of it. You've heard of people all the time saying, oh, someone tell me I would never amount to nothing, and look, now they're owning businesses or some amazing artist or a virtuoso in whatever field or genre. And so this is the idea of a not mantra, is you dissipate whatever resistance. Instead of saying, I'm going to go chase money, I'm going to go get money, you become money. Instead of I'm going to go get in a relationship, you find a relationship with yourself, a deep and profound relationship with yourself, and thereby attract other meaningful and interesting relationships with other individuals. So here's the experiment, and here's what I'm going to say that I did, and that you could try it out if it resonates with you. Okay, number 1, pick an area in your life that you want to see a change, or just do an experiment on an area that you really you're indifferent to, because that's the other part, is that by saying a not mantra, you create this indifference. You create this kind of like nonchalance, where if it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, cool. And that's why people always say, well, people that have money, people are always trying to give them money. It's because they don't have any hang-ups around money. People that are in relationships always can get a date because it's like they don't have any hang-ups around relationships. So that's the other aspect, is that it creates kind of a nonchalance or an indifference, and thereby all you have to do is just bring your attention to something and it comes to you, or you go to it, either which way. But and it's smooth and fluid and swift, because there are not any hang-ups that are around that area. And so you're not deliberately creating resistance, which happens a lot of times, because usually we want things that we don't have, and the reason why we don't have them is because of resistance around broken ideas, beliefs, whatever. So you do a not intention, like we said, like a ladder, or $1,000, or a trip, whatever. So you write it down, put it at your bedside, put it in your wallet, put it in your car, put it on your mirror, so that your mind is it's like a French roast, right? It's just percolated in this consciousness of the thing. So it's kind of an art form a little bit to write the intention, because you want to write a not mantra that if it happens, it's a good thing for you, not a bad thing for you. Okay, and so you want to make the subject of your mantra something that you want to bring your attention to. You want to create more attention. Pay attention to your life, but you want to create more attention to this area in your life. And sometimes it's like by saying, I will not do this, all of a sudden you're like, well, what if I do it? What happens if I do it? So what? And then it kind of creates this interesting dynamic. Again, you can respond or write back with your experiences. Okay.